welcome to another exciting episode of In the Spotlight with myself, Esona Funeka. Now, today we took our cameras down to some exciting events, and if you'd like to find out exactly what went down, then you have to wait and see. Right now, although in studio, we will have Mr Mazizi Msutu from the City of Champions. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Welcome back from the ad break, and as promised, we are with Mr. Mazizi Msutu from the City of Champions. So he will be telling us a bit about the organization and what it is that they do for the Nelson Mandela Bay community. Mr. Mazizi, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me, Esona and Molokwe, and I'd like to greet the viewers as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's get into it. Please introduce yourself to our audience and also tell us about your role in the City of Champions.
Well, my name is Mazizi Msutu, as you've quite correctly pronounced it, which doesn't often happen. I'm the president of the City of Champions in the Nelson Mandela Bay.
Okay. And then first, I think before we actually go to your role, we should tell our viewers what is the City of Champions.
Well, the City of Champions is an initiative, very unique initiative that we have started along with the Nelson Mandela Bay City. We looked at what Cape Town is known for. It's known as the Mother City. It has the Table Mountain. We looked at what Johannesburg is known for. It's the City of Gold. We looked at what Bloem is known for. We looked at what Durban is known for. And we looked at what PE, or Nelson Mandela Bay, is known for. And we realized that mostly people mistake our city as the Windy City. Yeah. Even though SA Weather Services confirms that Beaufort West is actually the windiest city. And some do remember that it used to be called the Friendly City. And we really began to say, what is it that the city is unique about? Okay. And that which is the city is unique about is the fact that we're the only city in the country, the only city in the world that bears or carries the name of Tata Nelson Mandela. He was a champion of a number of things, and we'll talk to that later. But really, it's the City of Champions because it is the only city that carries the name of Tata Nelson Mandela, and in it, the city has a number of champions as well.
Okay, so is it correct for me to assume that you are trying to build even more champions from this organization?
That's exactly what this whole project is about. It's about inculcating a culture of championship amongst residents. Is about saying to each and every one of us, we are champions in our own rights, and we should not be constrained by anything. It's 21 years of freedom and democracy, and we have championed it as the nation, and now it's high time that we take it to the next level, and that's what City of Champions is about.
Okay, are you yourself a champion?
Most definitely. I'm often asked the question, what is a champion? And by definition, I often say, a champion is a champion A who has either won a race or won a contest. If two teams were contesting and one wins, therefore the one that wins is a champion. Yes. But the other kind of a champion is a person who is an ambassador of a cause, a champion of a cause, someone or a group of people that champions a particular cause. And that's exactly what we do in the City of Champions. In the City of Champions, we're championing the legacy of Tata Mandela. In the City of Champions, we strive to be the only city in the world that simultaneously can hold the most world records at a given point in time. So we're really challenging both definitions of championship, in that we want to be the first city in the world that has the most number of world records, and secondly, we're championing very, very unique, very, very important cause, being the values of Tata Nelson Mandela.
Okay, so I think now as the president, it's safe to ask what your role in the organization is.
Well, other than being the man behind the name, I'm a founding member of the City of Champions. Okay. Really, my role is to assist in the vision development of the organization. I'm assisting in the driving of the organization as the president.
Okay, and what is it that you guys do for the Nelson Mandela Bay community?
The City of Champions is, as I've indicated earlier, it's about achieving the most number of world records in the entire planet. Okay. And for us to be able to do that, we've looked at the three most important numbers that are associated with Tata Nelson Mandela. The first number is the number 67. Everybody knows that. Come 18th of May, we all celebrate the International Nelson Mandela Day, where each one of us gives 67 minutes of our time, owing to the 67 years that Tata Madiba gave us as the nation, us as the world. The second number is 46664, which was his present number. But the third number that people don't often know about is the number 27. And that's the number of years that Tata Nelson Mandela spent in prison. So the City of Champions aims to champion that one number being 27. So we're looking at breaking 27 world records in the next 3 years.
Wow, and how is that going so far?
So far, that's going quite well. The project was launched on the 4th of December. We had 2014. We had our very first event on the 11th of April. And we marching on. We carefully selected the Freedom Month as a month where we will launch various world record events. Now we're in the month of May. It's dubbed as the Africa Month. So we will be looking at various world records that are more Africa and African related. And following that shall be June, being the Youth Month. So we'll do youth-related world records. And after that, it's Nelson Mandela Month. We've dubbed it being July. And we shall do those events that will uplift once again the values of Tata Nelson Mandela. And for us as the city, to remind the rest of the country and the rest of the world who Madiba was and what Madiba stood for.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so can you tell us also about the stakeholders and your sponsors and partners involved in such a great initiative?
In the main, our partners and major sponsors at the stage are the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. The various world records, which I'll talk to in a moment, attract with them different sponsors. For example, the longest human chain to pass through a hula hoop was mainly sponsored by Nestle. And we're looking at a number of other world record events that will attract different kinds of sponsors. We're in discussions with Parmalat. Hopefully next year, come Easter, will introduce a very, very interesting cheese scripture, rather cheese sculpture. Listen to the preacher coming out in me. Not a cheese scripture, but a cheese sculpture, which will be the largest. And then we're in discussion with Pamela. So the number of sponsors will come in at different stages. But at a media level, the Messenger News is one of our major sponsors and strategic partners. Mhlobo Wenene, KQFM, as the local radio station. We're in partnership with Algoa FM. So we do have current sponsors that we're working very closely with.
Okay, last question before we go to the ad break. Can you just tell us about your experience within the organization?
In the main, what City of Champions is about, I've already mentioned that it is about breaking world records so that we champion the cause of being the first city in the world to simultaneously hold the various world records. And secondly, we're championing these 9 core values of Tata Madiba: the value of unity, value of freedom, value of social cohesion, value of nation building, and many other values, the 9 core values. I've discovered, or rather I've discovered that in the main, people still don't want to cross the color bar and reach out to the neighbor and show the true value of unity that Tata Madiba stood for. Let's take, for an example, the second last event we had. The longest human chain to pass a hula hoop. It required that people hold hands on their wrists for longer than 15 minutes. And you could see some people were like, you're a stranger. I don't want to hold a stranger's hand for longer than 15 minutes. I don't know this person. I don't like this person. And so I think the underlying issues around what unity should be saying to us as a nation, to us as Nelson Mandela Bay, are beginning to come out. Really, I've seen to a greater extent how people don't easily reach out to a stranger, and possibly it's a whole cultural issue versus Africans and Europeans, because Europeans don't like to be close to each other at a queue, and Africans like to be very close to each other at a queue. So those kind of diversity issues, cross-cultural issues are the ones that are coming up. And I think that this project, this initiative is about bringing those to the fore, addressing those and letting everyone know that this is a crocodile, this is a beast that we all need to address.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Msutu. All right, now it's about that time. We have to take a quick ad break, but we will be back with more from the city. From the ad break, we're still with Mr. Mazizi Msutu speaking about the City of Champions. So, Mr. Msutu, I just want to find out your highlights within the organization.
Well, my highlights within the organization have been that, first and foremost, everyone is excited about the notion of being a champion. And we all realize that everyone appreciates the fact that inside of them is a champion that can allow them to overcome the challenges that they have in business, challenges that they have personally, challenges that they have in their families. It's to a greater extent about social cohesion and building a very strong sense of confidence amongst residents within themselves, A, and B, also that residents believe that the city is under good leadership, the city is under good management. And so really, I think to a greater extent, my major highlight has been the level of enthusiasm and excitement that I see amongst residents in the Bay whenever we talk about the City of Champions. They're like, wow, we love it.
That sounds amazing. So can you tell us about these events that you have spoken about?
The world record events that we're looking at doing over the next few months and the next 3 years, Asona, include, some of them would be individuals, where just individuals would participate. Most of them are going to be mass participation events. We're looking at events, the one that we've just done is the longest longest human chain to pass through a hula hoop. We're looking at the longest soccer game ever played, day in and day night. We're looking at the longest rugby game ever played. We're looking at the longest boerewors braai that we'll ever have. I've already spoken about the cheese sculpture, the largest Easter egg, the largest Easter bunny come next Easter. So it's all about going big, and we're looking at collecting books and have the largest collection of books in June. We wanting to collect stationery. We want to break a record of being the city, the only city that has collected the most stationery, school stationery supplies within 24 hours. So we ought to be challenging every resident in the city to donate a pen, to donate a pencil, to donate anything that has to do, that will assist the upcoming matric students or grade 12 students that are going to be writing in the Bay this year. So in June, 12th of June, we're all going to gather together and bring together all of those supplies that will assist the matriculants of this year. So it's those kind of events. Some of them are educational in nature, some of them are sport related, but mostly they're about social cohesion, they're about unity, they're about the largest group of people to go through the Macarena dance, and the largest group of people to do the bus dance, that dance that we normally do during a wedding, and come the 18th of July, we want to break the record for being the only city that will have the largest number of people wearing a Madiba shirt.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you've spoken about all these initiatives and what you're planning. How do you actually go about creating awareness and getting everyone involved in these initiatives?
It's through marketing and advertising on the one hand, through our websites, which I'll talk to in a moment. We've also appointed cluster coordinators. Okay. So in all the 6 clusters in the Nelson Mandela Bay, there are people that you can go to. And we have meetings and we try and communicate these various events right through ahead of the events themselves happening.
Okay, so any future projects?
Well, it's May now, being the Africa Month. We're looking at doing some gumboots, dance gumboots race to bring into the fray the whole Africa theme once again. But most importantly, as I've mentioned already, what we're doing during the Youth Month and the Mandela Month, to be able to sit and dance the Madiba dance and remind everyone else, and have a group of people that gets together wearing a Madiba shirt.
Okay, so what have been the challenges that you've experienced in trying to create awareness and also in trying to make these events a success? And how have you actually overcome those challenges?
To a greater extent, I think the biggest challenge has been people not quite understanding what we're trying to achieve.
Okay.
And some people would get to the venue and they'll fold their arms and just look and watch while everybody else is participating. Because these events the entrance is free, for the city is paying for that, and everyone who participates gets to get a medal as a champion. You get to have a certificate as a champion. People normally would, once the event is done, they'd now want to rush in to be able to get a medal. And we've been able to say, no, you can't. This is for those who've successfully participated in the world record events. I think the greatest challenge has been getting people to participate, number one, and number two, to understand that you receive the reward of the medal for having successfully participated. But we're overcoming that through massive information flow. We inform people ahead of time at the venue. We try as much as possible to get it through to everyone that you have to participate. It is free. It inculcates a culture of championship in you, and you get to have a medal at the end to show your generations to come that you have always been a champion of the Madiba legacy.
Okay, and have you been happy, pleased with the outcomes of the project?
The progress is nice, steady, but I'm pleased, considering that we started our first event in last month. Literally, I mean, today it's been a month, and we've already had 5 world record events, and so I'm seeing progress. So watch the space. By the end of this year, I think we will all be pleased with what we'll be seeing. The new wave of championship in the Bay would definitely hit, including Esona.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that. Okay, any motivational words to our audience with regards to being a part of the City of Champions?
I just want to say to the audience out there, you are a champion. Regardless of what you view as challenges in your life, each one of us has it in ourselves to be champions. And let that championship spirit come out, and we are there to assist. www.cityofchampions is our website. You could call us on 450-9000. Our office is located at 202 Cape Road in Mill Park. So please do come through, visit us, send through your request. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as the City of Champions. Really, all I want to say is let's all get behind this initiative. Let's all be champions of the Madiba legacy, because you are a champion.
Okay, so what can you find on your website?
On our website, you can find information on what the Legacy Project is about. You can find website on the different events that are upcoming. You can register on the website if you wanted to participate on a specific event, so you can register, then we can notify you, make sure that when you get there you don't have to go through any registration process, because it's important, especially for Guinness World Records and these various other world record bodies where we send our body of evidence to be bestowed as champions, that you are able to account for the number of people that came through, and we're able to confirm that these are the numbers and these were the people that participated. So our website is useful for you to understand what the project is, for you to see what upcoming events are, and thirdly, for you to register to participate in the upcoming events.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Msutu. Okay, that was Mr. Msutu from the City of Champions. Now you've heard that if you want to get involved, there is a website available. So go and check it out and see how you can be part of such a great initiative. Right now, though, we have to take a quick ad break, and we'll see you right after. And welcome back from the ad break. Now we took our cameras down to KwaZakhele, where they tried to break 3 Guinness World Records. That is another great initiative from the City of Champions, so stay tuned.
Good afternoon, I'm Natasha Al from the City of Champions, event specialist of the City of Champions. We are a Nelson Mandela Legacy Project in partnership with the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. Today we're celebrating Freedom Day with attempting 3 world records, namely the Macarena dance, the electric slide, also known as the bus dance, and also wrist clutching with the rest of the community. Freedom Day is a very special day to all South Africans, and the reason why we chose today, not only because it's a public holiday and we know we'll have a lot of people available, but because freedom is one of our core values as a Nelson Mandela Bay Legacy Project. Out there at the back, I don't know if you can hear the noise, but it's a community celebrating Freedom Day, spirit of unity, everyone getting together. Yes, there's been hiccups with us today, we're planning and everything together, but it has been a marvelous time this far. Various people from various walks of life. We have the mayor here, we have the ED here, and we have Nak music maybe on the way, coming back to Nelson Mandela Bay, but looking forward to this and making this event a great success. Celebrating Freedom Day with the City of Champions, and what we're trying to do as City of Champions is turning Port Elizabeth into the first city in the whole wide world with the most simultaneous records with Guinness World Records that we're in partnership with. So when you come into PE, it's no longer PE the Friendly City or the Windy City, but it will be Port Elizabeth. Welcome to the City of Champions. I'm Natasha Al from the City of Champions. Freedom Day, here we go.
Chairperson of the South African Council of Churches in the Nelson Mandela Metro. We are here as the council today to this big event that is organized by our municipality, the City of Champions Legacy Project. We are supporting this project strongly as the church because it is the project that is talking to this day, Day of Freedom. The freedom that we as the church also fought for, assisting the people of South Africa to unite. We want them to be united in love. We want them to be united in care. We want them to be united in diversity. People of this country are people that are faith people of faith, people that love God, and their love of God must be shown by the way they treat one another. We are here supporting this program because in it we are saying no to xenophobic attacks that are happening in some of the areas of South Africa. We don't want people of Africa to kill one another, because the Bible says we are our brother's keepers. If we are our brother's keepers, therefore, how can we allow this xenophobia to happen in our country? It is against God's laws, and the God's greatest law is the law of love. We need to promote that law because it is God. That's why we are here today to talk to the people that the freedom that was hardly earned by the lives of the other people who passed on because of fighting for it. The freedom that is earned today is the freedom that we need to embrace. Amongst the people that fought for this freedom is Nelson Mandela, after whom this beautiful city of us is named. And Nelson Mandela was the man of unity. This project is there, therefore, to unite the people of the Metro. As the church, we are saying, people come together and unite. That is God's law. Amen.
People, in particular here, in this Metro, have died fighting for liberation. There were many casualties here, just as there were many people who were arrested here. The biggest gathering, the biggest political prisoners, the biggest number of political prisoners was here in this town, more than any other area in South Africa, because they were in the forefront of the struggle, and the intensity of the enemy, therefore, was concentrated here. And Nelson Mandela, therefore, was very much proud of the role that this city had played in the struggle. And therefore, amongst other things, he was very much interested in the question of unity. In spite of the pains that the people of this Metro suffered, he felt that he had to create unity and diversity, bringing together all the racial groups in the Metro and in the country as a whole.
Today's event also, maybe if you can tell us a bit about getting the youth to understand what it was about, unity and
Now, what therefore becomes critical, I always say that the people who fought for freedom are the people who will defend the revolution. But now the youth cannot be blamed for not having participated in the struggle for freedom. But what has to happen is that they have to be educated about what happened before this country, before when we liberated. Means they have to intensive political education, tell them where we come from and where we are today, and what were the wishes of Nelson Mandela in our struggle for liberation.
Now, we hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. Right now, though, we have to take a quick ad break. Don't go anywhere. We still have more on tonight's episode. Back from the ad break. You're still watching In the Spotlight on the Today Show. What an interesting event that was, but stay tuned, we still have plenty more.
Positioned the Nelson Mandela Bay as one of the most progressive performing arts centers, encompassing music, dance, comedy, arts and craft in South Africa. And you will recall that UTNIC used to be the area that specializes in cultural activities. And that talent needs to be nurtured again, such that as the Metro, we are able to live. We've got people that have achieved in the performance area, but yet, as the Metro, we have never recognized them. You know them, I can't even mention them. I think if basically Youth League based out in Mondofika, such that we are able to recognize the achievements we have. To create a multifaceted festival to encompass various outdoor and entertaining events, thus promoting Nelson Mandela Bay as a top tourist destination in South Africa, and showcase Nelson Mandela Bay's diverse tourism industry. You will recall that as part of our objectives in our vision, we strive towards being not just one of those tourist areas where people come and go either to Cape Town or Johannesburg, but we want and we're positioning ourselves to be a destiny for tourism. And I think we are on the right path insofar as that is concerned. In addition, this cultural festival must be a boost for SMMEs and township economy, so that we can be able to ensure that we are building sustainable communities where we live. As we move forward, the impact of this festival must be positively felt by our people. We need to develop sustainable business and investment opportunities, and this must become a key focus for business and government alike. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let us support this initiative and celebrate our creative artists. Let us put Nelson Mandela Bay Metro in its rightful place. Let's demand it. Let's ensure that we work hard to put it where it belongs. It's not going to come, by itself. It needs us, men and women, to put our soldiers on the wheel, close ranks, have common and shared vision, unite, assist each other, train and empower such that we are able to meet the demands. Having said that, we then expect that the company that has been identified by the Nelson Mandela Bay to then deal with the detail and entice you as to what are the kind of programs that we are going to have in this year, such that what we are saying here is realized. And I'm telling you, when they unfold this program, you will agree that indeed we are on the right path. But then, you must not only do that, you must also identify areas where you think and believe that you can be able to assist such that we are able to achieve the objectives that we have set for ourselves. Let us put Nelson Mandela Bay once again in its rightful place. Let us use this opportunity to reach out to each other and to do things better for the betterment of our people and community. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to say thank you very much for listening to me on behalf of the Nelson Mandela Bay, instructed, of course, by the Executive Mayor, Utata Bensonfield. Thank you very much.
As a gender activist as well, you know the rights of a woman and the rights of everyone else in terms of what happened there. That's another case. We've seen Pastor Zondo. I'm sure your phones, because our phones are inundated with information we don't want. I'm sure all of you receive porn here every day, almost, in your phones, unwarranted, unwanted. But that is the nature of our online space. It is there and it happens. We've also seen the last one, I think it was 3 months ago, a pastor making congregation members to drink petrol. That was one of the worst forms of depicting people as useless and unable to think. Some of what I'm saying are my personal views. They are not contained anywhere, not in any policy. But these affect the acts of the Film and Publication Board because we call them imitative acts. Yet we need to protect your children from these elements, but also yourselves as adults. The community of the Bay, Nelson Mandela Bay, we want to say we are going to hold hands with you until this program is launched as we are today, but also it's completed, and we are going to sit around the table and see where else can we work together to make sure that the metro goes forward, but also the province at large goes forward. I want to thank the metro once more as a child of the metro, being born in New Brighton Red location, that today I'm able to stand in front of you wearing different caps, but also working on behalf of our government. I think one thing that made many of us not to work for Coca-Cola and KPMG, it's not a bad thing, but it's knowing that to serve the nation will create a better South Africa for all. Therefore, we need to be found and to be seen working together. And also congratulate the Metro that we have not had xenophobic attacks, that there's unity in this region in terms of tolerance levels. Therefore, we are happy to be associated as part of this big event, and will remain partners beyond the Hamoset initiative. We'll work on other programs. This I have a mandate to say. I'm not a decision maker, but this one, because it's the Metro, I can really vouch for it, that we can continue working together. Thank you.
Nelson Mandela Bay Festival. Our responsibility is to make sure that the vision and the mission of the Metro with regards to this festival, and as espoused by the mayor, is accomplished. Our intention is to make this festival a commercial success. This promises to be a premier event in the national entertainment calendar. It must, and it has been, it has to be, because of wonderful people of this city of Nelson Mandela Bay. This city cannot continue to sell itself short. You know, I traveled this last year to London. You go to Buckingham Palace. It's got a Nelson Mandela Gate. Tourists that are frequenting that gate every day. Yet you are sitting with a city that cannot claim its space in the world by virtue of being the only city that is named after the icon, and he even endorsed that himself. It cannot be that you are sitting in this metro, yet you do not claim your space. It is because of that reason. You go to France, in front of the Consular General's House of South Africa, South African High Consulate. What do you find? A bust of Madiba. People are flocking in there just to see this icon. But we take this name for granted. You see, sometimes a prepared speech is... This cultural festival presents a golden opportunity for that repositioning. Our brief is very clear. This project must not only be about resuscitating the vibe, unearthing the talent, and honoring young artists. It must be about meaningful impact onto the lives of the citizens. This property must translate into tangible economic benefits for the township economy. You know, if you go to Paris, because before you come with concepts like this, you need to do your research. That's why you'll find people fighting that I was born in Port Elizabeth. You may be born in Port Elizabeth, but do you have what it takes to be sold internationally and elsewhere? Because it starts by you as an artist to invest in your talent. Once you've done that, the world will recognize you. You will not have to fight each and every battle if you have invested in your talent. That is our brief, that we must, at all times, to see that we develop the talent. Palis, I've just made mention of the groups that she left in this metro. Why they are not growing? Why they are not selling? it is our responsibility to work with those artists to ensure that we include them in this program so that at the end of the day, let us be able to take them to the world stage where they will be recognized like other artists that are recognized.
Now, we hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. Right now, though, we have to take a quick ad break. Don't go anywhere. We still have more on tonight's episode. Welcome back from the ad break. You're still watching In the Spotlight on the Today Show. Now, nothing motivates you better than the youth doing it for themselves. Our next event shows that whatever you put your mind to, you can actually achieve.
Well, as we all know, a lot of planning and organizing must go into such a big initiative. So with me right now is one of the organizers of the project, Nelson Mandela Bay Cultural Festival. Molo Tata.
Molo Siswa. Sisimpilile manakhona njani.
Right now. Cela nje usicacisele about the organizing and planning that goes into such a big event.
You know, it starts with the dream and the vision. And the vision of the city right now is to bring a huge and a prestigious festival to the town or to the city. And we have to make sure that we come up with a concept that is going to make sure it reaches out first to the creative artists of this city, but also it brings the best of the country and the world to interact with the artists of this city, but also to make sure that there is a benefit for the people on the ground. So there's a lot of work that goes into it because you have to discuss and negotiate the contracts. You have to first understand what the city wants, and when you understand that vision, it's very easy for you to execute. And therefore, that's the kind of work that has been going, at least for more than a year now.
Okay, can you tell us about the stakeholders and sponsors of the cultural festival?
We are finalizing our discussions with the SABC, SABC One, Films and Publications Board are the main, are also the sponsors of the project. There's Nelson Mandela Bay who own the project, but we then organize it on their behalf. There are many other announcements that we are going to be making before the festival, which are going to add more flavor and make sure that, as they said earlier, this becomes one of the premier events in the country.
Okay, speaking as an organizer yourself, can you just let us know how sustainable you think this project actually is?
I think one of the most important things, as much as you have a good backer like the city, you need to make sure that this is commercially viable. Hence, you have to bring the best and make sure that the people do attend. So there's a lot of marketing work that still has to be done. But over and above that, you must make sure that you have a lot of sponsorships for the project. But when you involve the people of the city, when you involve the artists of the city, when you bring the best in the country and outside the country, you are surely guaranteed that there is going to be sustainability. Because at the end of the day, the city doesn't want to do this once, doesn't want to do it twice. It wants this thing to continue forever. And therefore, for us to be able to compete with Cape Town, Durban, Bloemfontein and Grahamstown and many other festivals, we make sure that every time we plan well and every time it gets bigger and better.
Okay, do you think the city is ready to compete with big cities such as Johannesburg and Cape Town and so forth?
There's no doubt that the city is ready because we have been given the task to make sure that we become the eyes and ears of the city and we improve the project all the time. And therefore we are going to be working with the city to make sure that this prestigious event of Nelson Mandela Bay is a prominent activity in the calendar of the nation.
Thank you so much, sir. So with me right now is the Poetic Soul, one of the artists in the Nelson Mandela Metro. Sweetie, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you, love?
I'm great. So as a poet, an amazing poet at that, because I've actually heard your stuff, so I just want to find out how this initiative might impact you as an artist in the Metro.
I think for me it's always difficult to speak as an individual. I think that it might have, the words that were said today are driving towards a positive, a positive conclusion and a positive goal on behalf of the municipality towards the artists to say, we see you and we care for you and we're going to do something. So I'm hoping that at the end of the day, the words here translate into something positive, that artists will be working and artists won't be begging for work. They won't be fighting for recognition and things like that. So I hope I'll be amongst those that benefit in that way. But I hope that it will be others as well that benefit. All of us who've been walking this path for the past, some of us 15, some of us 12, 10 years. I hope that this really is, the start of great things.
Okay, as we've just mentioned that some of you have been working for 15, 20 years in this industry, what challenges have you faced as a growing artist in the Metro?
Oh, I think, the time must come for us to stop focusing on the problems.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is one of those moments where there's indication from the universe that we're not going to focus on the problems anymore and we'll be driving more towards the solutions. But some of the challenges we've been facing is with regards to getting the work, first of all.
Okay.
When big festivals come around, we always find ourselves fighting for our spot there and find ourselves getting the crumbs of that festival in terms of rates, in terms of treatment, in terms of contracting and professional treatment of ourselves as artists. So we find ourselves having first to fight before we get on stage. And we look forward to the day where we can just get on stage and perform knowing that the journey was beautiful from the beginning.
Very beautiful words from a poet. Thank you so much, Poetic Soul.
Thank you, Tom.
That was...
A lovely event that was. We hope that you are all inspired and motivated to get up and do it for yourselves. Unfortunately, it's about that time where we have to love and leave you. Remember to follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page, or let us know what you're thinking in an email about tonight's episode. If you'd like to find out who, or rather what else will be in the spotlight, then you have to check us again next week, same time, same place. Right now though, good night and God bless.